GOP frontrunner Donald Trump may be atop the polls. He's topping his nearest competitor by, get this, 16 points. But he's also topping the poll of being disliked. Trump is viewed unfavorably by almost 60% of voters. So the National Review has dedicated its latest issue to conservative voices to explain why they're, quote, against Trump. The editors wrote, Donald Trump is a menace to American conservatism, who would take the work of generations and trample it underfoot on behalf of a populism as heedless and crude as the Donald himself. We're joined right now by National Review editor Rich Lowry and Julie Roginsky. She's a Democratic strategist. Both are Fox News contributors. Rich, where were you 6 months ago? That has been the controversy and the criticism of the National Review today. Why did you wait so long to write this article?
Well, we've been quite critical of Trump all along, of his positions. At the same time, we've analyzed his appeal, and what we've done now has nothing to do with his popularity or unpopularity. It has to do with his political philosophy. He is pretty much a pure populist and not an ideological conservative, as conservatism has been understood the last 50 or 60 years. We mustered about 24 people across the conservative movement to make the case he's a mistake for conservatives.
You almost in the article point to him as being almost wishy-washy. I'm paraphrasing your words, but that kind of comes across. That's a pretty heavy charge against somebody who prides himself on being to the point.
Well, on a lot of things, he doesn't have well-formed views. So on ISIS, one moment it's let Russia take care of it, and the other moment we're going to bomb the crap out of it. Even on the immigration, if you look technically at his position, it's just a very complex form of amnesty, because it says we're going to take all 11 million illegal immigrants, we're going to deport them, then we're going to bring some of them back.
So you say that Julie, I want to ask you about this as well, but you say that his stance on things like abortion, gun rights, taxes are not conservative values.
Right.
But he is leading in the polls, Rich. The National Review at some point is going to have to back somebody. If he's the nominee, are you going to back Donald Trump?
Well,
or is the National Review going to not back the GOP nominee for president?
We're not going to vote for Bernie Sanders, that's for sure.
So
but,
then you're going to back Trump. You're going to have to.
Well, look, this happens before. It happens occasionally. I don't like it when it happens, but it does. That candidates we oppose actually win the nomination. 1996, Bob Dole. 2008, John McCain. And it very well may be that Donald Trump wins despite our opposition and opposition of a lot of other conservatives, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But if he's the GOP nominee, the National Review is going to get behind him.
If it's a two-person race between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, yes, very likely.
Okay. Very likely. I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, let's talk
about the other thing. He's going to sound, if he wins the nomination, I believe he will sound a lot different the day after. He'll immediately dash to the center, and he'll just be the pragmatic deal maker.
Julie, thank you for your patience. But what did you make of the National Review? I mean, again, the criticism was, sorry, Rich, was that this came much too late. That these conservative voices like Glenn Beck waited too long to come out.
Well, first of all, it probably doesn't help Rich's case that a liberal is about to defend what he's doing. But I think it took a lot of courage.
And now I'm getting it from all sides.
No, actually, I'm about to compliment you. I think it took a lot of courage to do what you did. I mean, here's the leading conservative publication, comprised not just of you, but I mean of people like Glenn Beck, people like Katie Pavlich, who we work with here, a lot of other people who are not National Review writers, coming together, first of all, to get all of these people who speak from a very disparate group of voices to come together and do this, I think, is yeoman's work on your part. But in addition to that, you've got people who essentially are not saying Donald Trump shouldn't be elected because of any reason other than he's not a conservative. So you're conservatives who've got conservative bona fides that you've established, and as a result, you're saying that he's not one of us. I think that takes tremendous courage. I wish people on my side of the aisle would maybe address that with some of our Democratic candidates. And, you know, I think the criticism that you're getting is unfounded. I mean, you have your opinion, and you're entitled to it.
Well, but I'll step in here.
I'm courageous.
Oh, no, just wait. Step back. I'm coming back in here. Well, let me ask you this, okay, because this is not out of the realm of possibility, Rich.
Yeah.
What if we had a three-candidate race? What if Donald Trump walks away, runs as an independent? He's the third-party candidate because, and you can see him, you know, getting frustrated, walking away, and say it's Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz, and it's Hillary Clinton, and it's Donald Trump. Then what do you do? Well,
the old standard set out by William F. Buckley, our founder, is backing the right, most plausible candidate. So in any situation where you have 3 or 4 or any crazy scenario that you come up with, that will be our standard.
Would be the Republican candidate.
The right, most plausible, whoever's most conservative and actually has a chance of winning the election, that's who we'll be with.
I'll tell you this, Rich, if it's Hillary versus Donald Trump and he moves to the center, as you said, I'm not sure who the more conservative one will be.
Don't start. One problem at a time, please.
Rich, you've been very, yeah. I mean, what if somebody else walked into this? What if Trump is, okay, let's go back to Trump being the Republican candidate, okay? And what if it's Bernie Sanders? What if it's Rubio, Bush? I mean, these different scenarios are possibilities.
They are. It's a crazy year. Look, I think a lot depends on Iowa. If Ted Cruz wins Iowa, he may be the favorite for the nomination. Certainly, it's going to probably turn into a really fiercely fought two-man race for a very long time. If Donald Trump wins Iowa, you know, this may be all over in 3 weeks, and I can look at a swift deportation under the Trump presidency.
You've got your anchor baby, so it's okay. You've got a baby.
The thing is, we're talking about Donald Trump, and that's why you have to put all of these scenarios out there, because anything is possible with someone like him, and especially in this race. And I have a feeling a lot in the Republican Party are still scratching their heads today about these polls, but we shall see. The polls change, and the caucuses are coming. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rich Lowry, Julie Roginsky.
Take care.